If I say the word bacteria, you probably picture some disease-causing monster found kind of in some pretty filthy places. But what if I was to say that without bacteria, your pet's health, as well as your own health, would really suffer, and that actually purposefully feeding them live bacteria or even poop from another dog could be the key to treating and preventing all manner of health complaints? Well, let's jump in. So we've got to start with the microbiome, and the intestinal microbiome. It's the population of the trillions of different bacteria, fungi, and other microbes that call the gut their home. And a healthy microbiome is really important for the health of your pet as a whole, for the health of their whole body. It's got an important role in helping to control digestion. It benefits their immune system because, after all, about 70% of the body's immune system is actually found in the intestine, but it affects so much more, many other aspects of health. Now, disruption to the microbiome can happen for all kinds of different reasons. The two most common reasons are going to be something nasty that your dog gets hold of and eats and it really disagrees with them, causing a load of diarrhea and maybe some vomiting. The other really common reason is going to be the use of antibiotics. So antibiotics, although they may be targeting an infection in some other part of the body, they don't discriminate. They are going to kill the bacteria within the intestine as well, and that's going to disrupt the microbiome clearly. Other medications can also have an effect, as well as your dog's diet in general, the environment that they're living in. There's so many different ways that the microbiome can be altered for the good, but also for the bad. And this really brings us to probiotics. So probiotics are live, good bacteria that we give orally. So we feed it to our dogs or ourselves, and they just aid digestion, they help promote really good gut health, and they optimize this microbiome. Now, this has huge number of therapeutic benefits, and the power of the microbiome, if you like, is only really just being explored and discovered. We're really at the early stages of our understanding of how the different types of bacteria that can be present affect whole body health. But some potentially really valuable uses for probiotics are chronic intestinal abnormalities, so chronic diarrhea, vomiting, tummy upset, stomach pain, allergic disease, so our atopy, our environmental allergies in dogs, diabetes, obesity, liver disease, mood and behavior disorders. The potential diseases and problems that the probiotics can be used for are huge. Now, that said, the benefit of probiotics, it really is highly dependent on the species, so the type of bacteria that's being given, as well as the species of animal that they're being given to. So, we might be taking probiotics, but human probiotics, while they're unlikely to cause any problem in dogs, they're likely not going to have the same benefit as dog-specific formulations. And future research is going to help to evaluate which particular probiotics are effective to promote health in certain different areas of the body, or maybe tailored for particular individuals and breeds as well. Now, perhaps the most common use currently, and the general recommendation for use, is to help put a stop to general non-specific diarrhea or diet-associated diarrhea. Interestingly though, the best effect looking in studies is actually when these probiotics are given before a dog suffers that insult that causes diarrhea. Now, clearly that's not very helpful if your dog has got diarrhea currently and you're thinking about giving them probiotics. It's not that they won't work, but they may, for simple diarrhea at least, actually not speed up the resolution by that much. It's not to say it's not worth giving, but when costs are a concern, maybe they're not quite so important. It can also help to reduce diarrhea, because of stressful situations. So if you're moving house, that can, cause diarrhea, and probiotics may help there. Also, if you're giving antibiotics for any other kind of problem, then giving probiotics to help reduce the impact of that on the microbiome is potentially incredibly valuable. And clearly, our use of probiotics goes hand in hand with dietary management to control all of these intestinal upsets as well. Now, that leads us on to actually feeding your dog the poop of otherwise healthy dogs. And this is something known as microbiome restorative therapy. So we're giving poo that we think is from a healthy dog and we're feeding that in different ways. Sometimes we're actually producing a slurry that we are kind of using as an enema, so putting up into the colon directly of a dog. And that can be used to treat a number of different long-standing intestinal diseases. Parvovirus in puppies is one key one where the use of this microbiome restorative therapy is becoming much more recognized and readily accepted, and can be a very powerful tool in the treatment of this incredibly dangerous and potentially fatal disease. Now, if you're thinking about giving your dog probiotics, there's a couple of key considerations. We need to remember that probiotics, they're live, living organisms. And so, as a result, they can be killed. And if they're killed, then they're not going to do your dog any harm, but they're absolutely not going to give them any benefit. So it's really important that you check the expiry date, that you keep them in a cool location, and be really careful where you source them from. You don't want to take them from the window of a shop where it's been sitting for months in the direct sun. Equally, if you're buying from a dubious online source, there is absolutely no way you can know how they were stored, and there's no way that you can tell whether those probiotics are still alive just by looking at that product. There's just no way you'll know. So be careful where you buy your probiotics from. And then we've got the situation where there are a lot more diets coming out that claim to have probiotics kind of built into them included. But in one study, there were 19 kind of holistic dog and cat commercial foods. 12 of these 19 diets did not contain a single live organism. So it was pure marketing, or certainly the probiotics had not survived the manufacturing, the storage, the transportation, and getting into the end consumer. So they were completely useless. Only 53% of those that did grow anything contained at least one of the listed species, and none contained all of the probiotics listed in the label. So my take home from this is that actually probiotics mixed in with food in a single product are really not to be trusted, not reliable, and really marketing and nothing more. The same though is true for pure probiotic supplements. Poor quality control, they're not monitored by the FDA, they're highly sensitive to handling and storage, and after 5 to 6 months of storage, there's often almost no live organisms present. And really, it's not just a case of wanting 1 or 2 live organisms, we need to deliver a particular dose. So that's going to fall off in time, and after a certain time period, especially with poor storage, really, you're not getting what you're paying for. And then in another study of 25 different probiotic supplements, only 2 actually had an acceptable correspondence between the actual production of bacteria classes that was stated on the label. Now, one product that comes out repeatedly on top of these studies and these evaluations is something called Fortiflora. It's a really useful, really valuable and proven probiotic supplement. I'll leave links to that in the description down below. But if you are giving your dog probiotics, then you really want to optimize the microbiome and you want to optimize the use of these products. It's really important that your dog receives a diet rich in the right kind of bacteria-friendly food. These are also known as prebiotics, and you can find out more about these in this video linked on screen. So tap on that, I'll see you over there. But until the next time, I'm veterinarian Dr. Alex. This is Our Pets Health, because they're family.